Let's go back to January of 2024, where the city of Dallas was bright and gloomy. Wait, I don't think that's the right word, but it was pretty sunny. The Dallas Cowboys had just finished 12-5, won the NFC East, and were the second seed in the NFC. Dak Prescott finished second in MVP voting, by far having the best year of his career. And with all this going great, a great team all around, could they make a run at it? Could this actually be the year they win the Super Bowl? 2 months before that, the Rangers won the World Series for the first time in their franchise history. I'm not a hockey guy by any means, but the Stars were one of the best teams in the NHL at that time. And then finally, the Dallas Mavericks, who at 5 months in advance would make the NBA Finals, and even though they lose, as long as they still had Luka, they were honestly Finals contenders. And it would take a lot to lose him. He's pretty much a Maverick for life, right? Well, you cut more than a year later, and the state of Dallas sports has gone down and decreased drastically. Despite being the number 2 seed in 2023, and up to that point, a number 2 seed had never lost in the wild card round before, the Cowboys were absolutely embarrassed on national television, 48-32 in a loss against the Packers. Genuinely the worst loss I've ever experienced, and this would start the downfall of the Dallas Cowboys. And even though this is a disappointing loss, Jerry Jones promises Cowboys fans that he wants to go all in the 2024 free agency market. So maybe we can sign a player or two, maybe we can sign a superstar, a borderline superstar. But that was not the case at all. Jerry Jones did not sign anyone. They were unable to sign Tony Pollard back, as he'd go to the Titans for a 3-year, $24 million deal, and even though the Titans were the worst team in the NFL this year, Tony Pollard stated that playing for the Titans is a lot better because they actually focus on winning instead of it being an actual media presentation like it is in the Cowboys. It's a show there. And so many Cowboys players, former Cowboys players, have come out and said that, and that is just horrible. It's disheartening. It's discouraging for Cowboys fans. And the fact that this dude said that about the worst team in the NFL, that's horrible. But hey, look, this season is a great running back free agency market. You're the Dallas Cowboys. You can go out and sign anyone. Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry are available. Yeah, their stats are declining, but go out and sign one of them. So did they? Which one did they sign? If you said neither one, you are correct. And if you said they would go on to sign Ezekiel Elliott, you are double correct. Yeah, this was a horrible move for the Dallas Cowboys. The only thing that's kind of nice about this is that he's a former guy who won rookie. Well, he didn't actually win rookie of the year as Dak Prescott, but he had a very solid 4-year stint here. It's kind of nice to see him back. But again, we signed a wash Ezekiel Elliott instead of signing Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. And Ezekiel Elliott would be waived before the season even ended. To make matters worse, Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry would go and sign with their own teams. Saquon Barkley signing with division rival Eagles, and both of them would have phenomenal seasons. Both were, without a doubt, the best running backs in the NFL this season, even though a lot of people doubted them, especially Jerry Jones, the Cowboys. And Saquon Barkley had one of the best seasons by a running back of all time. Everyone should appreciate the season we are witnessing right now from him. He should win MVP, and he is pretty much the main reason why the Eagles are in the Super Bowl right now and could win it all. To make matters even worse, Jerry Jones said he wanted to go all in for the 2024 regular season, but the Cowboys went 7-10, having their worst season in 4 years. Dak Prescott was out for the season by mid-season, and there was a ton of dysfunction everywhere, around every corner. Former players calling out the Cowboys, saying it was just a media show. Trayvon Diggs getting in arguments with reporters. Jerry Jones making a clown and a fool of himself every single week. Just a season every Cowboys fan wants to forget. To make the clown show more continuous, the Cowboys would fire Mike McCarthy, which was a good move, but they would hire Brian Schottenheimer as head coach. Maybe the worst head coaching hire I've ever seen, and it just makes complete sense Jerry Jones would do it. It feels like I'm watching The Boys right now, and Homelander just became president. This is how I feel. If I could describe it as a feeling, it just feels like I know we're doomed in every single decision we make. I'm not surprised. With all of these moves, Jerry Jones has proved himself to be the worst GM in sports, but he might have some competition, not just in the sports world, but in the city of Dallas. The Dallas Mavericks had a guy named Luka Doncic, and Luka Doncic, at just the age of 25, was already putting up a Hall of Fame career. He was a top 3 player in the NBA, and he was going to be one of the best players in the NBA of all time by the end of his career. Top 15, top 10 player of all time. He was going to retire as a Dallas Maverick with an NBA championship to the Dallas Mavericks team name. He was going to have a statue outside of the American Airlines Center. I think that's what it's called. But he's going to have a statue outside of the Dallas Mavericks Stadium because he was that good. Right next to Dirk Nowitzki, arguably it's not even arguable. He is the best Dallas Maverick of all time. And Luka Doncic was going to be right there beside him. So what did the Dallas Mavericks do to a guy like Luka Doncic? You trade him away to the Los Angeles Lakers. Genuinely, it's been a few days since this, and I still cannot believe this. I've had so many thoughts over the last few days, and I don't even know where to start, but I think everyone's main consensus is that this is maybe the stupidest trade they've seen in sports history, and it's so crazy that if you watch basketball, you are going to remember where you were for this moment. This is my generation's 9/11. Not a lot of them are allowed to say that, but people back there remember where JFK got shot. They remember where 9/11. They remember where they were when 9/11 happened. They remember where they were for all these things when these tragic events occurred. People are going to remember where they were when Luka Doncic got traded. The only thing that was crazier in my lifetime, I'm only 17 years old, so nothing too crazy has happened yet. The only thing that has happened crazier than this was hearing that Kobe Bryant died. That's the only thing that compares to this, and that was crazier, but still, I still cannot believe this happened. What a horrible decision. When I first heard this went down, my immediate thought was Luka Doncic was unhappy, and LeBron wants to win one more before he retires. But it sounds like Luka didn't want to leave. He wanted to retire Dallas Maverick. In fact, he started crying when he found out he was traded. He thought it was a joke. He was happier than ever. And now the reasons came out as to why he did get traded. And the three main reasons were they were concerned about his health, they wanted a win-now player, and they want defense. Defense wins championship. And all three of those you can easily counterfeit. I think that's the word. But you can easily deflect all of those claims. Just so, again, so stupid. Legend of Winning put it best. I don't care if he's a cracked at it, if he's smoking up heroin before every game, I'm still having him on my team. We can find a way around these health problems. We can find a way around the fact that he weighs 270 pounds. In fact, I feel like the fact that Luka Doncic is kind of fat, it kind of makes him better in a weird way. Like, it makes him a little more unstoppable in a weird way. And even then, if you wanted to find a way around that, still keep him on the team. You can find a way around that. Give him Ozempic. I heard someone out there say that. Give him the Supermax and give him the Ozempic. And again, I know stuff like Embiid, look at Embiid, what's happened to him, but Embiid never even led his team past the second round, and he's been an off and on player his whole career. Luka Doncic has never been that. He's been one of the best playoff performers of all time up to this point in his career. You can easily find a way around the weight problems. You also wanted a win-now player. You had that in Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic single-handedly, pretty much, led the Dallas Mavericks to the NBA Finals, and Kyrie Irving, having guys like him and Klay Thompson, I know he's not in all-star form anymore, but having guys like Kyrie, Klay Thompson, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, having all those guys on the team, you're a win-now team. And honestly, as long as you have Luka Doncic on that team, you are in a NBA Finals window. As long as you have Luka, I don't know how to explain it. As long as you have Luka Doncic, though, as long as he's healthy and playing, you are in contention to win the NBA Finals. And then lastly, defense wins championships. That's what Nico Harrison said, and I actually agree with that statement just because, hey, look at the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 50. That's what I always go back to. But that's why he traded Luka Doncic for AD. That's where I'm wrong. You could have gotten any good, solid defensive player and not have to give up Luka. And I know he's not the best defensively, but again, you can make it for his qualities. I know Kyrie isn't, he's not Luka Doncic level, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know where I was trying to go with that. Luka Doncic, I don't know where I was trying to go with that. But what I'm trying to say is that you didn't have to give up Luka to get a good defensive player. And it's mind-boggling, dude. The offensive production is going to go so down. And the pairing of Kyrie and Anthony Davis, when you also counter in guys like Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, Klay Thompson, not a bad team on paper. If every team just started from scratch and you brought up this lineup, it's not a bad team. But one, you had Luka Doncic on the table and you gave him up, and two, every single player on the team is not going to want to play for a guy who willingly gave up the franchise player. So The team morale is going to be so down. Klay Thompson signed with the Mavericks because of Luka. Main reason why Kyrie got traded to the Mavericks was because of Luka. A lot of these guys were building pieces around Luka, and now you've given that up. And so the team morale is going to be so down. It's best to enter the rebuild right now. Trade away guys like Kyrie and Anthony Davis. Trade away all those guys to start the rebuild. It's not going to go well for Dallas. And if you're a Dallas sports fan, I'm so sorry. Enjoy everything. Like, enjoy this life while you can. If you're a Mavericks fan and you want to be a Thunder fan or whatnot, hey, I'm a Thunder fan, and come join us. I'm not a bandwagon, by the way. I've lived in Oklahoma. I have family in Oklahoma. I claim Oklahoma as my home. So, hey, that's about it. Sorry, Dallas sports fans, and bye.